Alright guys, welcome back. We finally have the Delta table saw all outfitted with its new wings. The next step is to install the router table. And we actually went with the router lift from Jessem. I think this is the Jessem router lift 2. And I'm debating on placement, how large of a router table do I actually want. What I'm trying to do though is I want to make sure that my table saw can do a 24-inch rip, and hopefully I still have the router table fence installed. I do plan to make an auxiliary fence for the table saw and probably do a router fence on this side. I'm thinking I might go that route, but just in case I end up having an actual router table fence, I want to route some T-tracks in here, and I wanted to make sure that wherever I do, the fence will stay on the saw and I can rip at least 24 inches. Which is right there. And the average router table fence is probably about 5 inches thick. Which means the front of my lift would be way up here. And that's not what I want. That's about the size of my current router table. I think that leaves me with like a 12.5-inch operating surface on the router, which is not really what I want. So what I'm thinking about is, because again, the router plate will be recessed into the table. This will just be my operating room in the front, and my fence can always slide all the way to the front, and I never have to remove it. But then I can make my 24-inch rips without an issue. So I decided to make a compromise. Again, this is about a functional 12.5-inch table. I think my original one is about 14.5 to the back of the plate. So what I want to do is at least, I think, a 17. That is 17.25. And currently my fence is at like 14 7/8. But the fence will be able to come over until, about 5 inches shy. This is my router fence is about 5 inches thick. This fence will be able to come all the way up to butt it. So from here to there, we have 9.25. It'll be able to come over about another 4 inches, give or take. So pretty much with leaving my router table on, I'll be able to get like a 21-inch rip with my current fence. It's not massive, but ideally, I never have to take anything off my table is the goal. And again, I might not even use this fence. I might completely rely on my table saw fence. I do plan to build a large auxiliary fence for this. So I might end up just using my standard table saw fence. But the only reason I hesitate on that is the need to use both of them at the same time sometimes. And I wouldn't want to have to, that's the other thing. Yeah, I don't want to end up in a situation where if my fence is on, we'll see. We'll see if they ever interpede with each other. I might make this a little bit smaller, but that's the decision-making process we're currently making. Right now, again, where do I want to put my router table, and what is my maximum use of the router table while still using my table saw? I do still have my portable router table, so I have all those flexibilities still open that I can rest on any one of my benches inside of the shop, so I can actually run 2 router tables if necessary. So this one will just have the router lift in it. I might grab a second lift. We'll decide. But that's what we're about to do. So the next step is to actually set up a template onto the table. And unfortunately, I recently waxed all these. Well, I didn't wax it, but I did Danish oil. So the surface doesn't allow my double stick tape. So I will have to put some pinholes in this. I'm not really too worried. This is only plywood. So a few staples in there. It's not really going to hurt anything. Just to hold down the wood that I want to hold on the perimeter. And again, I think I'm going to settle with... Now it'll be 17, and then the center of this is 7 5/8. There we go. I'm about to grab my air hose, and we're going to plop in some trim to hold this in place. Then we'll move our fence and put the last piece in.
come to blows many times.
All right, now that we have our template in place, the next thing I need to do is actually set the proper depth of my router itself, so I can actually hog out the waste to make sure my router plate comes out perfectly flush. This one does actually have some adjustment screws, so you can actually raise it up and down. So you want to actually go slightly below the actual top of the router plate. And what I'm going to do is actually switch out the base on this router with my insert plate from my other router table. That way I have a lot more larger work surface when I'm using my router to keep it from tipping inside of my template. And I'm going to hog out the majority of the waste and come back with a jigsaw to kind of remove the middle so the lift can actually recess down through the table. Now that we have the router lift and plates fitting inside of the actual extension wing, the next thing we have to do is get everything perfectly level with the top. And the Jessem router lift 2 comes with 10 set screws. Once you actually adjust all those set screws, you got to make sure the plate is flush on all 4 corners and across the face of the plate. That way, as you feed material across and through your router table, you don't have it catching on any of the corners. After you have that dialed in, there's also 4 holes or 4 corners that you actually drill a hole, and they come with mounting knobs. So you can actually screw down and actually have your plate mounted firmly to the wing so it doesn't move or wiggle if you did overcut your recess. After you get all that taken care of, the last thing you need to do is actually mount your router itself inside of the lift. And I believe it fits pretty much most routers that, where the motor can be removed from the actual housing. I think it goes up to like a 3-inch diameter. I can't really remember. Let me not speak on it. But currently I'm going to be using a skill router inside of the router lift. I might grab a larger one later on, further down the road. But they recommend the best way to do it is that you put your router lift up onto some blocks, flip it upside down, and then drop your router in. And then you want to make sure that your router can be completely lowered beneath the table when it's mounted inside of the lift. That way you can get your maximum throw, be able to change the bits, but also, again, recess your router completely below the lift surface. So get all that dialed in. The next thing we're going to delve into is actually making our custom fence. All right, so the next step for me to finish up the router table is to route in the T-track for the fence. And I'm going to be using my old fence to kind of locate where the old bolt holes are. Later when I build a new fence, I want to use the same bolt hole locations. So that way the fences will be interchangeable with either my new router table or my old one. And to do so, the first thing I need to do is place the router table fence directly on the extension wings, dead center, and then mark the bolt hole locations. And then I need to come back with a Forstner bit and drill a relief hole for my router bit. And then the next thing I need to do is set up a fence. Essentially, I typically could just use my edge guide against the edge of the wings, but I can't because it's already installed and the table saw rails are in the way. So I need to raise up the edge of my extension wings so my edge guide has something to ride against. So to do so, I'm just going to double stick tape a piece of 3/4 inch plywood along the edge of my extension wings. That way my edge guide will run parallel with the edge of my extension wings, but also raise the edge guide and the router up to where it's not rubbing against the table saw rails. Hopefully that makes sense. The first pass, we're going to use a straight bit. Then we're going to come back with a T-track bit. The goal is to make sure the router is dead center on those marks I've already made. That way the fence will run parallel and also be able to register off of the table saw fence. The next step for us, now that the router table is complete, is to go into making the fence, or well, the sub fence, which is just going to be a standard L shape with some 3/4 inch plywood that's blocking, running it along the back side of the fence to keep it nice and rigid, essentially making a torsion box, but in a rectangular or a tube shape. The next thing, after you get all the parts cut, we need to head over to the drill press to actually hog out a section for the bit and also for dust collection. I'll catch back up to you guys when we're ready to put everything together. The assembly process is pretty straightforward. We're just going to nail and screw together the L shape, making sure that we keep the router bit portion aligned with each other. Then afterwards, we're going to come back with some pre-drilled holes and some countersunk screws, and then we're going to start adding all of our blocking. I'm going to put 2 blocks directly next to the actual cutout for the router bit. That way I can close it in later for dust collection. Then I'm just going to add the rest of the blocks kind of along the fence to keep everything nice and square. Also, you want to make sure you check for square as you go throughout the assembly process, because if your fence isn't flat or square, kind of defeats the purpose, and you'll end up having issues as you go into routing stuff. With the sub base completed, I can go ahead and take a piece of 3/4 inch plywood and actually run that through the router table to create the T-track. I'm going to cut a T-track on the middle, on the back side of that piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and then probably about 1 inch down on the front. Then I'm going to go over to the miter saw to chop it in half, and that's going to give me a split fence. So I can actually open and close it around the router bit, depending on the size of the actual bit, and also for the dust collection. Then the T-track on the front side is going to allow me to attach feather boards and other work holdings directly on the front side of the fence. And pretty much at that point, we have a completed router table. Oh, I will end up closing off the backside right there next to where the bit cutout is, so I can actually throw in a 2.5 inch hose. But yeah, at that point, we have a completed router table fence, and you guys are going to see me use it quite a bit on this upcoming project. And just like that, we now have our Jessem Router Lift 2 mounted inside of our custom extension wings on our Delta table saw. We also built this new fence with dust collection and adjustable fences all intact. We were able to use it with the outfeed table, so we actually feed material along the outfeed table into the router table, throw an outfeed roller out there on the outside. We have the dust collection and everything else hooked up. All we have to do is actually stash the vacuum directly underneath the table saw cart. And if you guys are curious about how we built the cart, definitely check out the previous video. But if you guys have enjoyed this, please smash that like button, leave me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.